young Lagosians to add value using their talents. Federal government raises review panels on 1.5 trillion naira works contract debts. On the foreign scene, U.S. fighter jet crashes in South Korea during training, and a Sport Nigeria Olympics Committee laments poor funding for African Games Paris 2024 preparations. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has urged young Lagosians to add value to themselves and the state by looking inwards and using their talents to solve challenges around them. The governor, who was represented by his deputy Obafemi Hamzat at the 2023 Lagos Food Fest with the theme of fusion of flavors, noted that the event is an avenue to showcase the talents of young people in a manner that will enhance revenue generation both for them and the state government. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who noted that talents will not amount to anything if the bearers cannot look inwards and provide solutions to problems within their communities, urged youth to tap into the various empowerment programs in aquaculture, poultry, snail farming by the Ministry of Agriculture.
So they are looking inward to say, how can we add value? That's what I see here. Prosperity, ingenuity, innovation, the spirit of Lagos. So my charge to everybody is, let's look at what we can do to add value. We cannot be a nation of complainants.
In the highlight of the event, the governor, accompanied by the secretary to the state government, Abimbola Salu Hudayi, and other top government functionaries toured the market exhibition before participating in a cooking exercise of mac and cheese infused with nkwobi, a local Igbo delicacy. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, has released letters of termination of appointment and reprimand to all 7 indicted officials of the agency at Oshodi, Lagos. Director, Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department of LASMA, Adebayo Taufik, in a statement confirmed that every recommendation made by the Personnel Management Board on the indicted officials in August 2023 were ratified by the Lagos State Civil Service Commission. Adebayo said while 5 of the officials indicted for corruption received letter of termination of appointment, 2 received letter of reprimand for absence from duty post without leave. Similarly, the acting general manager of LASMA, Olalekan Bakaruki, has stated that the disciplinary action taken was in line with the extant rules as guided by the Lagos State Civil Service rules and regulations. Bakaruki maintained that the agency would only get better if and when members of the public share their experiences, including positive ones, and provide evidence where applicable of perceived misdemeanors. He implored road users in Lagos to always comply with the state traffic law in order not to run foul of the law, which will attract penalties as stated in the law. Lagos State government has restated that its focus on drainage channels and canal maintenance remains unwavering to permanently address the menace of flooding in the state. Addressing newsmen after an inspection tour of many areas in Ikoyi, Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, expressed satisfaction with the level of the cleaning of drainages at the Dodon Barracks Mami Market. He explained that the issue of perennial flooding in that axis has become a matter of serious concern to the state government. Wahab was accompanied by the Director, Drainage Enforcement and Compliance, Mahmoud Adegbite, also visited Shoreline Estate, Onikoyi Estate, Park View and Banana Island, noting that most structures in the areas did not observe the standard 3 meters required by law for the setback of secondary collector drains. He said the ministry would serve contravention notice immediately to property owners along the corridor of Shoreline Estate and Onikoyi Estate, Park View and Banana Island collector whose properties fall within the channel setback. Wahab said the government would continually intensify its enlightenment efforts to sensitize residents on the essence of maintaining a floodless and clean environment at all times. Following Sunday's killing of 18 persons in a crash involving an articulated vehicle on the Abuja-Kaduna highway, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC Corps Marshal Dele Agadumo, has directed that such vehicles conveying humans and animals together be impounded. Bill instructed the sector commanders to set up the joint task forces in collaboration with sister agencies to conduct special operations to end the practice. He noted that it is necessary for agencies like the Police Force, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Army, and vehicle inspection officers, among others, to collaborate and curb the menace. Bill described Sunday's accident as avoidable and decried the nonchalant attitude of drivers who could not be bothered about simple traffic rules. The crash occurred when the driver of the articulated vehicle, overloaded with goods and humans and traveling at high speed, lost control and fell into a ditch on the highway. Now to the rest of the stories. The federal government has set up 6 committees to verify the authenticity of the 1.5 trillion naira debt it incurred on road construction across the 6 geopolitical zones. A committee is assigned to each. The verification will begin tomorrow and end December 22. According to a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to Works Minister Uchenna Oji, the committees were established after a budget defense session between the minister and the ministry's directors ahead of their appearance before the National Assembly Joint Committee on Works. Highlighting the necessity for contract review in light of inflation, Oji, the federal government has planned to spend the sum of 23,085 million naira on the rehabilitation of airports, aerodromes, and air navigation equipment in the 2024 fiscal year, while 2.1 billion naira was budgeted for the rehabilitation of air navigational equipment. The figure, which is part of the federal government's executive proposal in the 2024 appropriation bill, also earmarked over 63.3 billion naira for the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has lamented incessant attacks on its facilities, calling on the media to sensitize and create awareness of the consequences of destroying those facilities. TCN's General Manager for Port Harcourt Region, Thomas Inogumon, who made the call, said the TCN is unable to meet the 15,000 megawatts capacity due to weak and aging infrastructure. Inugunu said vandals have cut earth conductors of big transformers that cost about 800 million naira in some of the stations, resulting in the floating of the facility. He stressed that daily attacks on TCN facilities in Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Imo, and Rivers were impacting negatively on efforts to supply uninterrupted electricity. Now to foreign news. The Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS leaders have resolved to urgently review efforts to activate a standby force for counter-terrorism operations in areas infested by terrorist groups in the region. This is contained in a communiqué read by President of ECOWAS Commission Omar Touré at the end of the 64th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS in Abuja. The leaders reiterated their commitment to the eradication of terrorism and other threats to peace, security, and stability in the region. They also resolved to hold an extraordinary summit on unconstitutional changes of government aimed at promoting peace, security, and democracy in the region. A U.S. F-16 fighter jet crashed this morning in South Korea during a training exercise. The jet crashed into the waters after taking off from an air base in Gusan, 178 kilometers south of Seoul. Report says the pilot ejected from the jet and was rescued. In May, a U.S. F-16 jet crashed during a routine training exercise in a farming area south of Seoul. The pilot ejected safely and the accident caused no other casualties. Now, sports. The Nigeria Olympics Committee, NOC, has expressed worry that poor finances are affecting National Sports Federation's preparations for next year's African Games and Paris 2024 Olympics. NOC media officer Tony Niziaya said the poor economic situation in the country has put the federations under pressure as they strive to give their athletes adequate training and exposure to excel at the international events next year. Niziaya said to ameliorate the situation, the body is seeking ways to ensure that Nigerian athletes get the required training to excel in the international events, adding that it is exploring every means possible to help the federations. The 2024 Africa Games will hold from March 8 to March 23 in Accra, Ghana, while the Paris 2024 Olympics will run from July 26 to August 11, 2024. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, stay alive. Make use of pedestrian bridges where available. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration deployed traffic lights and CCTV cameras in strategic places in the state? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has urged young Lagosians to add value to themselves and the state by looking inwards and using their talents to solve challenges around them. The federal government has set up 6 committees to verify the authenticity of the 1.5 trillion naira debt it incurred on road construction across the 6 geopolitical zones. We also told you that a U.S. F-16 fighter jet crashed this morning in South Korea during a training exercise. And in sports, the Nigeria Olympics Committee, NOC, has expressed worry that poor finances are affecting National Sports Federation's preparations for next year's African Games and Paris 2024 Olympics. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to newsroom@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fabulagun. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.
This message is brought to you by Mike Frost and Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
Obey the rules and regulations of the road for your own safety. Know the drive like say you get extra life for house. If you go, you don't go with that. But people know if you see you, it can't be that. Why you follow away when you're day on call and you don't say you don't drink beer before? Save your life, take them easy. Obey traffic laws. Know the rules, follow the rules. And the rules to protect you. Know the rules, follow the rules. The rules to protect you. You better make it late, than make you late. Life no get back to. If you drink, don't drive. If you must drive, don't drink. Save your life, take them easy. Obey traffic laws.
You're listening to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
My name na Zaki. How person go dey drive without seat belt? The person be like person wey wan baff without water. Me no dey drive or start my car without seat belt to my people. No forget to use your seat belt. E dey save life.
This is Flight Schedule brought to you by